Well, hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. Look where we're at here. We got the official Christmas tree for Millennium Park here. Lines up with Washington and Michigan Avenue here. They let people back on the ice skating rink, which is great here. So here's the, you get a nice view of the official Christmas tree there. We'll get all the lights there. Look how nice that is. So hey, welcome to YouTube. We were experimenting with Substack there, trying to live stream from Substack. As expected, they don't have a sophisticated live streaming app there. I think it's mainly set up for like over Wi-Fi, so people, you know, with the nice setup with the microphone, you know, like the people that do regular podcasting, what from it looks like a radio booth or something like that, it works better. So if we use Substack for live streaming, it'll be more like that for a blog or for a podcast type thing, and I can do audio only. I do want to use Substack to try to tie our YouTube and TikTok together with other stuff I can write about it here. Hey, Sabrina Suburban Garden, thanks for tuning in here. Welcome to Millennium Park. Welcome to Chicago. Yeah, we're just gonna, I'm getting out of work here. We got 5:03 in the PM. We just saw Overtime Seb. So Overtime Seb was streaming on TikTok, and so check out Overtime Seb there. He's probably somewhere around here. We might run into him again here. So here's the great bean of Chicago, Millennium Park, Chicago, Illinois. We got 5:03 in the PM. We're just over 20 degrees, about 22. It's the same as it was pretty much at lunchtime. At least it's warmer than the frigid temperature we had over the weekend. We're still celebrating the Bears win over the Browns. But here's the Cloud Gate, the great bean of Chicago. Hey, thanks everybody here. GMJ, good evening there, Christine. Let's see here. XRT fan there, yeah. Sarah's. Yeah, Denise, how you doing there? Jeff, how you doing? The Metallica fan there, yeah. Grandma's Corner, thanks for tuning in here. So hey, the great bean of Chicago. Let's go give you a nice overview of the whole ice skating rink. Look how nice the Prudential building, both 1 and 2, looks. Christmas lights here. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. It's the second day of Hanukkah. Of course, we had all the sad news over the weekend. We'll get into that later. We talked about it briefly at lunch there, but hey, thanks everybody. The One Golden Nubian, thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, we're at the great bean of Chicago. So we tried on Substack. The resolution was pretty bad. I was experimenting with doing a quick live stream from Substack. You might get that in your inbox if you subscribe to me for Substack, but the resolution is pretty bad. Ernie was watching it live and a few other people and gave me some real-time feedback. But hey, here's the ice skating rink. Here's Millennium Park. There's the official Christmas tree. We'll go right by it. So I'm going to begin my walk home from work here. We got December the 15th, 2025, Chicago, Illinois. Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, the second day of Hanukkah. Hanukkah started yesterday, Sunday. Today's Monday. We'll head down to the ice skating rink here. Zamboni just smoothed out the ice. And here's the great bean of Chicago here. We'll walk right around it here. Look at the beautiful Christmas tree. Yeah. How's everybody doing there? Avon. Let's see. Walter. Amanath. Yeah. G-Bay. Gabby, yeah, Chicago loves you. Gabby, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out the bean here. Yeah, let's go. We'll see myself reflected in the bean here. We'll knock on the bean. We'll say hello to the man in the bean here. It's me. Look, I'm the man in the bean. Hello. So you can walk right underneath it. Yeah, let's check it out. Look at the beautiful skyline of Chicago. Yeah. So we can look up. See yourself reflected 5 times. Yeah, Andrew, Chicago misses you. Thanks for tuning in. So, hey, you're really going to miss it tonight. We're going to walk up Michigan Avenue. We're going to go past the official Christmas tree. We're starting at Cloud Gate. Look at the beautiful skyline reflected there. So, hey, let's head up Michigan Avenue. I need to get moving here. I'm going to get cold. Got to keep moving. But we saw Overtime Seb. Overtime Seb's on TikTok. And he's around here if you want to see more scenes of Grant Park and Millennium Park. We're going to head up Michigan Avenue. So, and this Gemini has a great rerun. He went up to the Christmas lights in the Gold Coast, and we're heading up that way. If you want to see it live, you can watch his nice 4K 60 frames per second resolution of Astor Street. That's one of the many videos he films there, among other people. You can watch Chris Presents there on YouTube as well. And here we'll head right down to the official Christmas tree. There's the bean, and we'll check out the ice skating in Millennium Park at the ground level there. Yeah, thanks for waving there. Thanks, HOERMA, Grim Evil. How you doing there? Wayne, thanks for tuning in there. Oops, let's see here. So here it is. Everybody takes pictures right here. You get the nice spot right in front of the official Christmas tree. There it is. Look at that. Yeah. So here, let's head down there. Millennium Park, Chicago, Illinois, 22 degrees. You got 507. You can hear the elevated train there. There it goes. Look at that view. Let's zoom in there. See if we can zoom in. There's the L coming out of the Christmas tree. It's like a toy train coming out of the Christmas tree. Oh, there, look, one goes one way, one goes the other. That's Washington Street. So this tree aligns with Washington Street.
They didn't stop, huh?
Yeah, what a tree. Let's show it up close here. You got these nice lights here. Yeah, I like the tree this year. It's different than last year. They got these ornaments, kind of bulbs hanging on it. And it's a 60-some foot spruce there, donated by the Mason family. And yeah, look at the lights there. Millions of lights. Here, let's show the ice skating. Millennium Park here. Man, Dolores Christie. Hey Garmy, how you doing there? Grant, Angie Love, look at the ice skating rink here at Millennium Park. See, they got restrooms. You can go to the shop there. And there's some people that really can skate really well. You see how there's the bean there. And here's Michigan Avenue. Hey, look at this guy. Look at him spin. Yeah, there's people ice skating here. Nice winter scene here, Chicago, Illinois, 509. We got December the 15th, 2025. So hey, let's start heading up Michigan Avenue. We'll be back here. We'll be back at this ice skating rink during the day later this week for sure, and we might head over to the Maggie Daily Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So here's the official tree here. I'm going under the trellis here. There it is. Yeah, we got a real tree. I know. They cut this down. This came from the Mason family in Glenview. It was in their yard. They literally cut it down, hauled it here with the truck, got a stand. Every year we get a live tree. 112th annual City of Chicago Christmas tree. There it is. And here's we've been seeing the Grinch here. Let's see if the Grinch is still here. I don't know where the Grinch went. Where was the Grinch here? People taking pictures in front of the Christmas tree. Here it is. So hey, let's head up Michigan Avenue. Let's check out the lights. So you're in the right place if you want to see Christmas lights. Eventually we'll see the snow in Lincoln Park. We'll head by the Lincoln Park Zoo if my battery holds out that long. I'm not going into Lincoln Park Zoo. We already got reruns both on YouTube and TikTok, and you can watch every other Chicago live streamer's got a rerun of it as well by now. And we'll just head up Michigan Avenue and check out the lights. Look at the Prudential building, the Aon. Yeah, stay warm there. Yeah, it's a Norwegian spruce. That's what they said. That's a good question there. Yeah, it's either Douglas fir or Norwegian blue spruce there. Tennessee, how you doing there, Gene? Thanks for tuning in there. Maria, how you doing there? So if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're on Michigan Avenue. We just left Millennium Park. You can watch the rerun there. I missed the light here, so we'll wait a little bit. So we'll show the colonnade there. That's part of the colonnade of the extreme northwestern corner of Grant Park, which is Millennium Park. There's the Smurfett Stone building. If you've seen Adventures in Babysitting, it's the Diamond Smurfett Stone building. That's the old Library Cultural Center. Look at the Prudential building. They got it lit up for the season there. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. The second day of Hanukkah is today. and we're still mourning the loss of what happened in Bondi Beach there in Sydney, Australia. I can't believe Rob Reiner's gone and his wife. It's such a tragic thing, and we lost 2 U.S. service members in Syria, or somewhere there in the Mideast. And there was also the tragedy at Brown University. So a lot of tragic events happened this weekend. Of course, we got to mar the holiday season with some tragedies, and such a shame here. Hopefully they'll find the Brown University suspect. They had somebody in custody, but they released them, so it's very strange. I don't know what's going on. Here we're in Chicago. We're crossing Randolph Street. So here's the Oriental, or the Nederlander. It used to be the Oriental, now it's the Nederlander. Showing my age. The Nederlander theater there, the theater district on Randolph. We'll head right up Michigan Avenue here, so we'll go right up to the Wrigley building there. That's where we're heading. So the Wrigley building's in red and green for Christmas. The Tribune's in blue for Hanukkah. We'll show it to you once we get up there. So Damien, how you doing there? If I missed anybody? Yeah, this is not DC. Yeah, thanks for recognizing Michigan Avenue. Once we get to the lights on Michigan Avenue, we'll go up past the water tower. We'll go up to Oak Street. Here's Cinnabon, Rainbow Cone, Auntie Anne's Cinnabon, pretzels, whatever. Hey, he's rolling the dough there. He's gonna. Hey, how you doing? When you're rolling in the dough, make sure you roll it slow. Yeah, good evening. How you doing there, Anna Marie? Oh, that's good. Well, hey, thanks for stumbling across my little live streaming street walking here. We got a lot of Chicago streetwalkers. I see Vic Cohen still posting content. He was doing it long before I was doing it here in Chicago. And we got so many great live streamers. I'm Brian Really Chicago. I'm usually on. I started on TikTok. Now I stream almost exclusively on YouTube. We were experimenting with streaming on Substack right before I came on. The resolution's poor. I ran into the same issue with other platforms. They just don't have enough resources. Not enough people stream on. So I think it's set up for, like, you have to have a Wi-Fi like in your house and a strong connection. It's not set up for cell phone towers. And even YouTube. That's why I use Streamlabs here. Mayor, welcome to Chicago, Michigan Avenue. We're Lake in Michigan. We're gonna head up Michigan Avenue and check out the holiday lights here. We've got about 22 degrees. DC has a little snow. Yeah, I saw that from the news. I saw they had a live shot from the White House there, and there was snow on the ground in Washington, D.C. I guess that just happened this weekend, right? We've had snow off and on the ground since our first dump came in November the 10th, and then that lasted a few days, and it completely melted really quickly. And then after Thanksgiving, we got another big dump, and then we've had snow on the ground ever since. But it has melted down a little bit. We were supposed to get snow over the weekend, but we didn't, at least in Chicago, where I live in Chicago, Lincoln Park, we didn't get any measurable snow that I saw. We just had cold temperatures. I think all the snow went further south in Indiana, Illinois, and towards Kentucky and Ohio, and maybe Washington, D.C. That makes sense. So here we're across from the Pendry. You see this Citizen M? They want to put a Portillo's at the bottom, I've heard. So if that goes in, we'll keep you updated. So far, I see no signs. I just see that it's available. They're talking about put a Portillo's right here at Water Street in Michigan, just a block south from the Riverwalk. Either way you go. That's Michigan Avenue. Look at South Millennium Park. So here, let's cross Water Street. No, this is Chicago. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Chicago. We're the other big city with a bunch of skyscrapers in the United States. Not as many as New York. New York, of course, has orders of magnitude more skyscrapers than we do, but we have orders of magnitude more skyscrapers than most cities outside of New York in the United States. So the skyscraper was invented and perfected in Chicago as well as New York City. The New York and Chicago became the first two skyscraper cities in the world. They were the only two that had large skylines by the 1920s, even though many other cities had skylines by the 20s, including Detroit. Detroit has a pretty impressive pre-1929 skyline that people forget about, and beautiful vintage skyscrapers like We got here in Chicago the London House, London Guarantee Building, the Wrigley Building, and there's the Mather Tower there. That's the Trump Tower, which came later, of course. And then I was showing the carbon building designed by the sons of Daniel Burnham. And Daniel Burnham was the architect of the Washington, D.C. Union Station. If you ever admired the ceiling, the vaulted arched dome ceilings of the Union Station there, the neoclassical style, that's Daniel Burnham. He was a famous Chicago architect and did stuff all over the world. See, 333 North Michigan Building. Here's some of the lobby here. Art Deco. Look at that amazing entrance. You got the Blackhawk store. You go down to the lower level of Michigan and Wacker. We go down there sometimes, show you what it looks like, the Blues Brothers, streets below the streets. There's the tall Trump Tower. I have to mention it because second tallest building in Chicago. And here's the Wrigley Building and the Tribune. Tribune's in blue for Hanukkah, and the Wrigley's in red and green. And the top of the John Hancock is red and green. That's the direction we're traveling here. So we're gonna cross Wacker Drive. We're gonna cross the Chicago River. We're gonna head Michigan Avenue. We got Monday, December the 15th, 2025, 5:18 in the p.m. Central Time Zone, Chicago. This is Wacker Drive, Michigan Avenue. There's the Marina Towers, yeah, London House. Freaker how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, let's take a cruise up Michigan Avenue. Overtime Seb streaming on TikTok. He's probably somewhere. Hey, here comes a cruise boat. Even in wintertime, here comes a cruise boat. Maybe we'll stick on the river to watch this thing go underneath us here. There's the St. Regis, designed by Jeannie Gang. See how they changed the lights at the top of the John Hancock? Now they're blue, so they toggle between blue and white for Hanukkah. There, they see how they toggled the red and green, and they can do that now. Yeah, let's get this boat. Even in December, we got a. Is this an architectural tour boat? This might be a holiday party. Sometimes they use these boats for holiday parties. Wouldn't that be amazing if this is a holiday party? It's heading straight towards us, so we'll stick on the bridge here. It's such a beautiful spot too. You get to see the London House. There's a roof deck up there. Look at that beautiful colonnade there. Well, here comes the boat here. Yeah, let's get a beat on this boat here. Let's see if we can zoom in and get this boat. So hey, welcome to Chicago. The Chicago River. We're looking straight east on the Chicago River. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah. Hello. Thanks for being out in the cold. It's awesome, isn't it? Yeah. How you doing, everybody? There, see people taking out the architectural tour there. Hopefully they could hear me. People were waving to me on that boat. They're taking an architectural cruise at night, 22 degrees outside, wintertime, checking out the lights. That's some hardy tourists right there, bundled up on that boat. People didn't want to wave because they had their hands in their pockets. Or maybe it's just me. Yeah. Yeah, Drumpf. His real name was Drumpf. They changed their name. His grandfather immigrated, went up to like Washington State. There's a lot of people that research the paternal grandfather of the current president of the United States here. So hey, thanks for tuning in here. Here's the Tribune Tower. We'll go by the tree here. See, here's the Apple store. Look at the beautiful skyline view. We got nice views all around here. We just passed the John Baptiste Point DuSable statue, Chicago, Illinois, Chicago River, the Apple store. And yeah, Scott G and I, we tried to get inside the Secret Santa, but it wouldn't let us in. I guess it's expensive food and drinks there. Hey, take a picture in front of the Christmas tree there. Look at that. Yeah, very nice. Then across the way, there's the one for the Wrigley Building. Look at that nice view there. So, hey, look at the Tribune. It's all in blue. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. There, look at that. Look at the beautiful Tribune Tower. What's this? They got a bunch of. You have to count the number of Candy Crush Saga. So this is advertising. Stand to win. They got all these things. You film it here, so you can check out the Candy Crush here. And they got the Mag Mile. Everybody's a star on the Mag Mile. Look at the NBC. They still got the Hope here. I think it's Indigenous Peoples Month this month. And there's the Wrigley Building. How you doing? Hey, let's head up Michigan Avenue to check out the lights. Thanks for tuning in here. Malta, yeah, thanks for tuning in there, Kate. Kate Else. Climate zone. Yeah, so in wintertime, we're like Canada. We're like the Taiga. We're like the frozen tundra there. Lake Michigan becomes becomes like the Hudson Bay. Sometimes the lake freezes over. So we got a very continental. We're a very we're a very large landmass. And just like Siberia, the reason Siberia gets so cold is the huge continent of Asia, well, the huge continent of North America, Canada. That's why this cold weather dipped all the way south to Florida, North Texas, Louisiana. Some areas had below zero or below freezing temperatures, the coldest they've been. And we had the coldest temperatures of the year for this winter so far, Saturday to Sunday. That was a very cold Bears game. But hey, the Bears defeated the Cleveland Browns there, yeah. And they get to play the Green Bay Packers, have a rematch there at home. So we really want to win that game against the Packers there. Here we'll get across, this is Illinois Street, Michigan. The Intercontinental Hotel here, Michael Jordan's restaurant. We'll check it out here. Yeah, GTA, Grand Theft Auto, welcome to Chicago. That's why I don't own a car. I don't have to worry about it getting stolen. Here's the Michael Jordan's restaurant, Michael Jordan's Steakhouse here in the Intercontinental Hotel and Michigan Avenue. Yeah, if that Portillo's opens up on Michigan and water, that'll be really interesting. We'll get to show that when people will be very interested in that. Yeah, thanks Pizza Lisa. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for giving people the background info. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're in Chicago. We're walking on Michigan Avenue. We check out the lights here. And there's the Nordstrom Mall. And we've got Grand Avenue. We go over the top of Grand Avenue. It's below us. You can take the steps down. Yeah, we're like Siberia. You call it Siberia. Instead of Siberia, you call it CHI, Siberia. Much better than Chirac. See, in the summertime we're Chirac, and in the wintertime we're Siberia. I know I don't mean to make light of that. Sometimes Chirac is used as a pejorative. I don't like it, but people are going to say it anyway, so we have to embrace it. It's the nature of language. But hey, there's the heart beam. It's not the beam, it's the heart beam. B-Love. They'll scan your iris there, put you in the system. Hey, well this scans the iris. This one scans the iris. That was an art gallery, I think. We go to the EV restaurant here, Michigan Avenue. We're almost to Ohio. So the lights will pick up intensity once we get north of Ohio here. Where's the money? Yeah, follow the money. Follow the money. Where's the money? But that's such a tragic thing about what happened to Rob Reiner and his wife there. It's such a tragedy. I'm almost thankful that Carl, his father, passed away in 2020. Wasn't around to see that. It's such a tragedy. I miss Rob Reiner. So many great movies. He was, of course, Meathead from All in the Family. His dad produced that show. His dad produced the Dick Van Dyke Show. Dick Van Dyke's birthday's today. Happy birthday to Dick Van Dyke, 100 years old. And he knew Carl Reiner, he knew Rob Reiner, he knew Rob Reiner his entire life because he was a little kid, grew up with him. Isn't that amazing? And Mary Tyler Moore was on that show. It was all before my time. I used to watch reruns when I was a kid. Here's Michigan Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. Yeah. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks so much. Yeah, I know. We'll see every statement possible will be made. It's every word combination. People will try different things. They try misspellings to get around the algorithm and the censors. And thanks to my mod team, appreciate it. It's not that we're against free speech. It's just we're just for polite speech, and we're for, yeah, free speech is offensive. We don't need to be offended every 5 minutes or every 2 seconds. Or here's here we're at Michigan and Ontario here. Here's that RIU hotel here, the St. Clair Hotel. Streeterville's all this way. Man, magical Christmas lights here. Let's across the street we got the light. So, hey, Michigan Avenue. We're crossing Ontario. Yeah, we're checking out the lights here. Naya Papaya there. Oh, Fussy Tyler, yeah. That's okay. Yeah, we'll go by the giant Starbucks here. Thanks for checking out the lights here on Michigan Avenue. Yeah, Overtime Seb was down at the Bean there. I think Ernie's working today. Ernie was streaming early. He saw that steam rising off the Chicago River. It was cold this morning. I took the morning off, but that's why I feel I got a pep in my step now. We tried out the Substack live streaming. It's not. I don't think it'll be good for in the streets there. The resolution's too poor. But maybe I got to mess with the settings. That's why I'm experimenting with it. We'll figure it out. But there's the giant Starbucks there, Erie, Michigan. Hey, we got some blue lights here. Happy Hanukkah, second day of Hanukkah. We're in Chicago. We just crossed Erie. There's the giant Starbucks. 4 levels of coffee drinking here. And yeah, let's check out the lights here. Got the blue lights. Yeah, the blue snowflakes. Got the Nike Town. There's the Nike store. Beautiful lights here on Michigan Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. Man, I've been to Starbucks. I've been to the Starbucks, but I never buy anything. I only go there to live stream and show people what it looks like on the inside. I'm like, you ever see me Eddie buying anything there? No. Here we'll head up to the water tower here. Yeah, we got all kinds of music. We got both country and western. We got all kinds of music in Chicago. If you ever seen the Blues Brothers, that's a joke. No, we got blues, we got R&B, we got hip hop, drill hip hop. We got regular old rock and roll, punk rock music. Here comes the ambulance here. We'll get across the street here. There it is. How you doing? There, number 53. There's a lot of ambulances that come through here because all the hospitals in Streeterville. Here's the Rolex store at the Allerton Hotel. We just crossed Huron Street, Michigan Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. We got about 22 degrees, and we got 5:29 in the PM. We're just checking out the lights here. Yeah, I know the peninsula has some really nice stuff. In years past, they had an ice skating rink up there, but it's a pretty snooty hotel. We'll leave it for some other time. Yeah, it's cold. Hey, you get some candy. Hey, look at that. They got the little nerds, whatever they are. Swedish candy. Yeah, get the Swedish fish. Yeah, I got a rerun of Chess Records. We've gone to Chess Records. It's down South Loop. It's almost to the McCormick Place there. Yeah, Chess Records. It's one of the original, the Delta Blues, like Muddy Waters. I think Chuck Berry recorded some stuff there. There's a great movie with Andrew Brody about Chess Records. And has anybody seen that movie? Yeah, we've got reruns. Please message me. I can send you a rerun. I'm heading the opposite direction because I live on the north side. So we'll go past. Gino's East is over there if you want some Chicago style pizza. Some tourist pizza, go down to Gino's East there. I'm not going to walk down there. But hey, thanks for listening to Chess Records. That's a great the history of Chicago. As far as its impact, Louis Armstrong lived in Chicago. Of course, he was from New Orleans, but he went to New York, went to Chicago, went to New York, went to Chicago, went back to New Orleans. We went to Louis Armstrong's house. Nat King Cole spent part of his boyhood in Chicago. Of course, Muddy Waters. We got the Muddy Waters mural. Buddy Guy, we filmed Buddy Guy. Ernesto and I filmed Buddy Guy with Grim Evil. He was playing with his daughter. That might be one of his last performances. I mean, I'm seriously, because he's done his tours. We saw him at NASCAR 2 years ago, and every once in a while he pops up, and he played with his daughter there, which is great. He's got several children, I think 2 daughters at least. And Buddy Guy, yeah, you could go to Buddy Guy's Legend there on Balboa and Wabash. But thanks for listening to Chess Records. And we saw Adam Who They Want. He was right over here. He makes music too. So here we'll cross here. Here's the water tower. This is Michigan Avenue and Chicago Avenue. There's the John Hancock. We're just checking out the Christmas lights here on Michigan Avenue. Look at the beautiful lights here. Look at that. Getting the whole street here, the boulevard, Michigan Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. And there's the water tower there at Christmas time. Check it out. Look, they got the blue and white for Hanukkah, and then they got the red and green. They toggle there. Yeah, it snows. We got snow on the ground right now. Does it snow in Chicago? What kind of question is that? Is there crime in Chicago? Come on. You know the answer to all this. Here's, we're waiting for the left turns here. There's no business like snow business, I know. Hey, the water tower. There's the John Hancock. There's the 900 North Michigan building. The pump house across the way. See, that's all the snow we got left. It has melted a lot. You're right, it has melted a lot. Wait till we get to the park. There's still a lot of it's on the ground. We got some rain last week and it kind of messed it up. There's the Great Water Tower, Chicago. There it is. Here, we'll get the Christmas tree here. Yeah. Yeah, it's a stone cold place. You got it. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Here's the water tower. There's the 800 North Michigan building here. There it is. Look at that beautiful view there. Oh, look at the cute dog there. I love your dog there. Thanks, with the Christmas tree. Very nice. Yeah. So, hey, getting a picture here with the dog. You got the Christmas tree. There's the water tower. So hey, let's head up to Oak Street here. We'll check out the lights. Yeah, 38 degrees. Sounds nice. We can get back above freezing. Wouldn't that be nice? Hey, I might have time to stop in this place if they got the doors open. So they got an architecture exhibit here. I'll probably just spend a few minutes here if the doors are open. I missed the architectural biennial. Maybe it happened in September when I was at my dad's place. I usually go to those things, but they kept it around for some reason. They brought, that's the Hotel Chocolat. We got a video on that. No, it's closed on Monday. Oh, I forgot. It's closed on Monday. That's why I couldn't go to it at lunch. So it's closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's only open Thursdays through Sundays, and that's why I always miss it. That's okay. I'll show you what it looks like in the window. So if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're going up Michigan Avenue. We just passed the water tower. We're up by the John Hancock. And here's the shift. It's architecture in times of radical change. Let's see, they got these esoteric design concepts. And we'll check it out some other time. Hopefully. Hey, Chicago's home for the holidays there. Go to the Art Institute. Yeah. Where's Popeyes? Yeah. I know there's a Popeyes on 35th. Where else? I don't know. There's not many Popeyes in River North, I know. Maybe, does anybody know of any Popeyes? You got the information. Just type in a map, you'll see where it's at. People use me as like a chat bot. I am a chat bot. I'm a human chat bot. Analog, human flesh here. Let's cross the street here. So here's the John Hancock, 875 North Michigan, 100 stories tall. We got the view of the observation deck there on the 94th. This is the 4th Presbyterian Church there. It was used in my best friend's wedding. We talk about it all the time. We went in that little court. See, we got some snow here. Look at the pretty snow in the courtyard of the church here. Yeah, Chicago has crime. I mean, it's why they're like, people are like, Chicago's cold. Yeah, okay. Chicago's crime. Yeah, okay. What are you going to do about it? We don't like your mayor. Okay, fine. What are you going to do about it? I can't do anything about it either. It's just, these are great observations. And we don't mean to be like annoying assholes. I'm talking about myself. When, it's amazing after live streaming for now almost 3 years on multiple platforms. I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining. You get asked the same question literally hundreds of thousands of times And then when you don't answer the question, people take it personally. They're like, you didn't answer my question. They don't realize it was asked 100,000 times before. And it's not personal. It's just, I'm slacking in my, I didn't know that was a requirement of the job, you know, like what the time is all the time. You know, I'm just like a glorified watch here, I know. But I appreciate my mods and everybody else here and other people answer questions here. So here, we'll head up, checking out the lights here on Michigan Avenue. Wait till we get to Oak Street. There's really a lot of beautiful lights on the trees. And we're heading past the 900 North Michigan building. Remember when we went in there, when they lit the tree, they lit that tree. And we saw Jose and we saw this Gemini, and supposedly J City Walker was there. She had some footage, so we knew she was there. There's the, I don't know how I missed her. There's Gucci. She probably heard my voice and she's like, I can stay away from him. I can hear it come a mile away. There's the Drake Hotel. Look at the Drake Hotel. Yeah. We went inside there. I posted it with the Shining music. Here's where we saw the Santa Clauses. It's funny how people like thought that was my fault. They were like, how dare you film that they blocked Michigan Avenue? I'm like, I was walking from home from work. I didn't expect it. It was a newsworthy event. And so I you know, and of course I had to go like expose like, you know, oh, I support what they're doing, you know, and then people were like, oh, you are a communist. We knew. I'm like, yeah, you got me all figured out there. You know me better than I know myself. Tell me what else you know about me. Hey, welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Michigan and Lakeshore Drive. No, yeah, this is where you can get on DuSable Lakeshore Drive. It's actually at Oak Street. We're Oak Street in Michigan. There's the Drake Hotel. Look at that nice view to the John Hancock, and look at the smoke coming out of the top of the old Playboy Palmolive building there. Look at that. That's a classic Chicago winter scene right there. With the trees. Hey, let's go. We'll go over Oak Street here. We'll go by Bravco Beauty. We'll check out Oak Street. 1 a.m. in Malta. Hey, well, thanks for watching, being up, watching it live there in Malta. You're up late. That's great. So this is, you just joined, we're in Chicago. Now we're on Oak Street, which is, we just turned off of Michigan Avenue. This is a high-end shopping district. It's like the Rodeo Drive, the Beverly Hills of Chicago, but it's near Michigan Avenue. See, originally Michigan Avenue was the high end, and it kind of moved, these boutique shops moved up to Oak Street, and now, and then Michigan Avenue became like urban malls, but then urban malls went like the way of the dodo. Some are like successful, like the Bloomingdale's Mall and the Nordstrom Mall seem to be more filled. The Water Tower, since probably was the first, it's the most dated. There was another mall that completely shut down, the one on Michigan Avenue, because they built too much commercial space in one area. And now with online shopping and not as many people traveling downtown, but that soon might be remediated because they're converting a lot of the offices in downtown Chicago to housing, and there's expected to be 100,000 more people projected to move into downtown. Think of that, 100,000 people, size of a large suburb, like the size of Naperville is going to move downtown. You know, think of that. Over the next 20 years. So we'll see if it happens or it's just projections. No one knows for sure. We don't know what's going to happen next year. We don't know where the Bears are going to play 5 years from now, if it's Arlington Heights, or if they're going to still be playing Soldier Field. But here we'll head up, this is Oak Street, Chicago, Illinois. There's the Esquire Theater. We got 22 degrees, 5:40 in the PM here. There's the security there. They're giving me an eye here. They're like, look, there's a guy with a camera. Let's get him. Here's Montclair. Yeah, on cue. Let's see what else is going on here. Yeah, you're right, Pizza Lisa. Let's see. If they fill the empty building, that's the hope. Though, if you get more people, you know, I would rather people that live near the shopping actually shopped at the shopping instead of traveling long distances. The idea, okay, maybe it started with the merchandise mart where people would travel to Chicago and New York for business destinations. You get something expensive for the spouse, you bring it back, you know, and then it became, you know, first it was the merchandise mart, then it was Michigan Avenue. You do some high-end retail destination shopping. Same thing with Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive. You get access to, you know, there's Bravco Beauty. Tory Burch, you know, Chanel. You can actually shop like Prada. You can actually shop Hermes and Armani and Versace and all these brands. Most of these are by appointment. You know, it's high-end shopping. The high-end shopping's doing better than like the mid to the low end, because they could have one sales that make the whole day, you know. There's hardly anybody ever in the stores, but they're still open, you know. There's Prada, Marc Jacobs, there's Armani, and here's Hermes. We're at Rush and Oak Street. And why do I walk past all this stuff? It's on my way home from work. I work downtown. I work for an architecture engineering firm, so that's why it's easy for me to walk up Michigan Avenue, walk over to Rush Street here, and the touristy, overhyped area of Chicago. I know it doesn't represent the whole city. I'll be the first to admit that. I'm not trying to do that. I do have videos of the south and west side. I'm walking home from work now. Here's Prada. So excuse me. I apologize. I live on the expensive side of the city. I'm wasting money up here, I know. But I like wasting money. It's the American way, right? We're good at wasting money. That's what the season's all about, right? Buy stuff for people. Here's so now we're on Rush Street. We'll head right up to the Gold Coast. We'll look for Christmas decorations here. Yeah, the lizard people. You ever see? Remember, there was those movies in the 70s where the aliens would invade, and then they would look like humans, and then they would reveal, and they had lizard eyes, and like they were reptilians, you know. They were trying to steal our water. I think that's what it was. Here, Lux Bar. We'll be colonized by real aliens from space. They Live, yeah, They Live is an awesome movie. I'm glad you brought that up. They Live because it goes into ideology. You know how you look at the here's a Ferrari. Here's a Ferrari parked in front of Bellevue. Here's Rush Street. Yeah, they show. You would look at the magazines and it would say obey. That's how Shepard Fairey, the artist that did the Andre the Giant, Obey. That's where he got that from. It was from They Live. It came out. It had Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper was the main actor, and so if you think The Rock is a famous actor from wrestling. Well, Roddy Piper did it in the '80s, and it was this horror movie called They Live, and a very realistic special effects where he found a box of sunglasses in an abandoned building, and he put them on, and you could see who's the aliens and who's not, because the aliens would show up. They were like these skeletal-looking, ghoulish figures. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And he tries to tell people, and nobody wants to believe it because it's ideology. That's what the movie really discussed. We're all, obey, the ideology of society that keeps us all together, and the fight against it, to go against. That's why psychedelic drugs were so dangerous. It got people to see things in a different way, and that's not necessarily good for society. And but here's Lou Malnati's. Our eyes have been opened. We can see the knowledge of good and evil, But hey, here's just joined. Now we're on State Street, Chicago, Illinois. We're heading home from work here, talking about They Live. You see that movie? I'm missing the comments there. Yeah, Roddy Piper. It was a documentary. Yeah, it's about what happened, and it was a prequel. It's about what's happening right now. You're right. Thanks for watching here. You guys know what I'm talking about. Great movie. Yeah, Chucky. The Child's Play. We go by the building there. It's called the Brewster. I guess I have to do another rerun of the Brewster there. That's where Charlie Chaplin lived, in that building. But yeah, that's where they filmed the Chucky. Not the Bride of Chucky, but the Child's Play movie in the 1980s. Hey, you guys know your movies. That's good. Here, let's cross. Well, now let's see. Yeah, let's head up Dearborn Street. So I saw this Gemini went inside Bush McGuire's, which is good. I'm glad he got that in 4K. The amazing decorations on the ceiling there, and the train. Watch this Gemini. He's got a nice rerun of walking through the Gold Coast Christmas decorations. Yeah, 1988 Child's Play. You got it. No, it's not a documentary. It's a movie. I think the person was saying that that's what's happening, and you know, like right now, you know, it was like like it could be a documentary, but it's not. It's a movie. It's a satire. It's a dystopic future, or a horror movie almost. There, if you just joined here, we're at Division and State Street here. We'll cross. Now, I know Astor Street has some really good decorations, but I think we're going to try Dearborn Street tonight, and we can keep Astor Street in our back pocket for later in the week. So here, we went up Astor Street over a week ago. We went up Astor Street, I think, beginning of last week. No, it's not as fun as it used to be. I remember in the 1990s and early 2000s, this was a much more happening place because, from my perspective, more people drank, more people went out, more people had money to go out and drink and waste money drinking. Because now, like me, I'm so thankful I stopped drinking alcohol, because I don't think I could afford it. Because the way I used to drink, I would spend $100 a night on like a Tuesday, you know, just going out drinking. Now that would be like $400. So, you know, that's how much I used to drink. So here's this is Shenanigans. There's Bush McGuire's. So there's, watch this Gemini he's got. There's David. We talked to David. David gave us a nice overview of the trains. It's all for charity. This is the Bush McGuire's here on here's Mother's, and we go by this stuff all the time. That's why I'm not spending much time on it. I got a rerun where we go inside Bush McGuire's just like a week and a half ago, and we talked to David. He explains the charity, the Boys and Girls Club, that businesses donate to the charity. And the two trains there, they've been doing it for 50 years. For 50 years, that train's been going around Bush McGuire's. Yeah, thanks, One Gold Nubian. Yeah, I stopped drinking in 2008. That doesn't mean I don't party. Alcohol and me had a really bad relationship. I have alcoholic ancestors on both sides of my family. It's great. Multiple generations. I got all the good hard drinking ancestry. Of course, with my red hair, I got Scottish and Irish ancestry. I've got German ancestry. I've got French. I've got tiny bit of Melungeon. So you can throw like Native American, African American in there way back. You know, I'm obviously a white guy, but got to acknowledge it. So I got a lot of hard drinking, good background there. It's awesome. Here's I also have ancestors that were moonshiners in Prohibition. Good, real Kentucky moonshiners from Kentucky, like bourbon, you know. And like moonshine was not bourbon. It was White Lightning. It was Everclear. you could set it on fire, you know. But here, if you just joined here, we're on Dearborn Street. We're going to try to check out some Christmas decorations on our way home here. But still, the best I found in my lazy, I know there's some in other areas of the city. We found those along Burling, Orchard, and Fremont Street. Fremont's a good street. They got several blocks. People decorate all through there. This is the Gold Coast here. This is Dearborn Street. There's the RH Furniture. We're at Goethe. Hey, how you doing there? Cute little dog here. Yeah, the RH Furniture. They used to be the 3 Arts Club. Yeah, who's playing tonight? Who's playing Monday Night Football tonight? All I care is the Bears won and the Green Bay and Detroit lost yesterday. So who's playing Monday night tonight? I don't even know. Wow. That's great. For the British Empire. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. So 2 streets over is a street called Astor Street. You ever heard of John Jacob Astor? Of course, John Jacob Astor, the patriarch of that wealthy family from New York City, he started he immigrated to the United States in the 1700s in New York City, and then he got in the fur trade, made a fortune off the fur trade, and then rolled it into real estate and business ventures in China. He was part of the first and second Opium Wars, John Jacob Astor. And you talk about the British were involved with that, Hong Kong and Singapore. And the Opium Wars in China, it was a real thing. It was an unfair trade imbalance where they flooded. Think of what President Trump accuses Venezuela of doing to America with fentanyl, flooding cheap drugs to offset like oil money or something. Same with the United States and British Empire. It was an unfair trade balance. They flooded China with opium and made a profit off of it, and somehow it affected the trade imbalance that we had with them because of colonialism. Isn't that interesting? Did I explain that right, or I get that way off? I'm just didn't expect to be talking about this tonight. Bears are good now. Yeah, they're at the top of the NL Central there, because that game on Saturday is going to be huge. The Chicago Bears play the Green Bay Packers on Saturday night, a rare Saturday night game, but they do that sometimes for the around the holidays here. So if you just joined me in Chicago, we're on Dearborn Street. We're just checking out the holiday decorations, and yeah, go Bears. Bear down, Chicago Bears. It's nice to have a winning team, good offense. We're not used to having a team that could run up and come back in the fourth quarter, And they almost did it 2 games ago even. Here's the the Green Bay game. Yeah, here's the simple Christmas lights here on State Street, but here's some nice ones here. No, we're on Dearborn Street. Excuse me, we're on Dearborn Street. We're 1 block over from State. Yeah, so much fun stuff to watch. Get something to do here. Yeah, the most violent city. What are you going to do about it? What else can you tell us? Enlighten us with your pontifications there. You think I'm trying to oversell the city? I don't work for the Tourism Bureau. I'm just trying to get home without getting mugged. Thanks for being my eyes and ears here. Here's, I'm joking. Here's, we're on Dearborn Street, the Gold Coast, Chicago. This is what I want to see. We saw this morning, so we'll cross Dearborn Street here, the bike path. Here it is, the beautiful house here. This is Schiller and Dearborn. We got some real Christmas decorations here. This is the Racket Club. You can join the Racket Club there. But hey, remember they had the nice Halloween decorations here, but they got the star. We saw this at lunchtime, and his beard was blowing. There was a lot of wind. There's the furry Santa there. He's got his list there. How you doing there, Santa? You're waving to us there. You look nice and warm there with your beard. Nice Christmas decorations here. This is Dearborn Street. Yeah, these places always decorate. Look at that tree. You got the nice garland there. Yeah. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Hope you're having a good holiday season so far. Scott's tuning in. Santa. Yeah, beautiful lights. They couldn't stop the supply chain. Yeah, thanks for the good information there. Thanks, Simone. How you doing there? So here's a nice Christmas, nice condo building here. The Garland. This is Dearborn Street, Gold Coast, Chicago. Heading home from work. Yeah, nice complexes. You got it. Yeah, look at the lights here. 22 degrees, not too bad. At least it's not windy. It was more windy at lunchtime. There's the St. Chrysostom's Church there. This is called Chicago, Illinois, United States of America, planet Earth. We're in the neighborhood called the Gold Coast here. And people are parking here. Yeah, what's up, Scott? What's up, Wes? How's everybody doing? See, that car still has snow on it. That car hasn't moved in weeks. Hey, Dibs, somebody. Hey, look at this Richardsonian Romanesque, the nice, beautiful mansard roof here. French Renaissance Revival styles, all these Italianate styles. Got this mid-century modern. Hey, it's nice to see lights on in there finally. For years this has been, they built this thing and they just never built it out. Look, they didn't even build the walls. I guess they ran out of financing or something. Here's the nice, look at this beautiful French Renaissance Revival. Nice mansard roof here, the beautiful facades here on Dearborn Street, Gold Coast, Chicago. We're almost up to Burton Place. Burton Place. People travel, the majority of people in Chicago travel by car. We do have a nice transit system, but it's not as large as New York City's. We got a elevated CTA train system, the iconic CTA L trains, and then we got the Metra, which is the suburban commuter, mostly use diesel engines. Some of them are electrified. And then we got the Indiana has a interurban. We got buses and water taxis. Here's well, I'm walking here. This is the Dearborn Street, the Gold Coast of Chicago. I like their giraffe here. We're at the upper end of Dearborn Street, almost the actual park of Lincoln Park. We're just filming. We filmed the Michigan Avenue lights. Yeah, we got 558 here. Yeah, beautiful houses. Yeah, the L's not for everybody. That's why people do drive. People do take taxis or divvy bikes. Use their own bikes. There's other ways to get around. You don't have to take the elevated train. Buses. There's Pace buses. So this is nice. I don't think we've seen these at night. So here, Dearborn Street, Gold Coast, Chicago. We're north of Burton here. We're almost to North Avenue. This is across from the Latin School. Hey, they got the trees decorated nice. Yeah, kids are kissing in the window, the silhouettes. It's a condo building. Yeah, the trees are nice. Yeah, wait till you see the big tree in front of the Lincoln Park Zoo. We're not going inside, we got reruns there, but we'll head right up through the park. So hey, thanks for checking out the lights on Dearborn. Again, this Gemini was checking out the ones on Astor, which is 2 blocks over, and there's some beautiful lights right at the north end, so we'll catch those later in the week. I know right where they're at. I went by them. I don't think they had them. At least I don't remember filming. I'll go back and look at my video. Maybe I already did film them. Did you read any of the street signs? No. What makes you think I can read? No, I'm joking. Arizona, yeah, thanks for being warm here. I saw it was like 86 degrees in Arizona. Yeah, it's like the only part of the country that's warm besides Miami, Florida, and like Hawaii or Puerto Rico, because even in Texas it was in the 30s. Like Houston was like in the 30s. Even like Corpus Christi, you know, it was like a high of like 40, which is pretty cold for them this time of the year. So yeah, thanks for tuning in from Arizona there. See, we're in Chicago. We still got snow on the ground. It's 22 degrees, but it's supposed to warm up later in the week. It's supposed to warm up for this weekend, just in time for me to get out of Dodge here. There, yeah, there's the constellation there. Yeah, Minnesota. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for joining us from Minnesota. See, somebody's got to live in the north. You know, people say, oh, it's so cold in Chicago. I'm like, talk to Minneapolis, talk to North Dakota, Alaska, Canada. People tune in from Nunavut and Scandinavia and Siberia. Hey, looks like they started to make a snowman and it like turned into nothing. Tom's tuning in. That's great. Wes, Kitty. So I tried streaming on Substack right before I went live here on YouTube. Ernie was in it, and the resolution was bad. I'm glad he sent me some screenshots. I should have expected that. So I'm glad that we have the option to do podcasts and live stream. I might do like an audio only podcast and try that with Substack. It could push it right to Spotify, which is interesting. But I was talking to Overtime Seb. We saw him at the Bean. He was live streaming. He still might be live streaming on TikTok right now. Him and like Jennifer You Should Eat, they use Discord. This is another one. But I like the publishing aspect of Substack. I know they take like 10%, but that seems much better than like the 50 to 70% that TikTok was taking. So it only matters if you're like you make like serious money, and if that's the case, you can pick up and take your audience somewhere else. Probably we've proven that. I think Tom's proven that too. Thanks for tuning in here. We're up by the Lincoln statue here, Lincoln Park, Chicago. It's going to be dark and nothing to look at here for a while, but you can look at what's left of the crappy snow, and the off in the distance we'll start seeing the Lincoln Park Zoo lights here. Oh, Jim Acosta's on Substack. The video quality's, yeah. See, and was he like out in the street, or was he like in like a Wi-Fi? I wonder if you have a Wi-Fi, it might be stronger. So I'm gonna go quiet. There's people camping out under this underpass under LaSalle. Wintertime, it's 22 degrees. These people were probably here out this whole weekend. There's the couch tomb. Here we'll once we get on the other side, we'll talk about the horrible, tragic stuff that happened over this weekend. I don't want to bring everybody down, but we got to address it. I'll try to do it as news neutral as possible, but it's impossible because it's me. But here's Chicago, Illinois. So if you just tuned in here, we're in Chicago. Appreciate everybody staying on here, mods and everybody else. Yeah, mods, if I miss any important question, I'm kind of go talk about the sad events that happened over this weekend and briefly, because it's hard to watch the news anymore. I'm the same way because it brings you down, and not everybody sees the news, but we need to be aware of the news. So I'll try to talk about it, because many times I've live streamed when we hear about the deaths of people, and we have to talk about famous people that have passed away for whatever reason. And of course, most obvious, the shocking news of the death of Rob Reiner and his wife. It looks like a foul play, and they have a suspect, and it may be his son, but I don't know the whole situation there. You can look in it more yourself, but I just want to celebrate the life of Rob Reiner. I remember him from Spinal Tap. Well, my first memories of him was like most people. I didn't really, when we saw him as Meathead on the All in the Family show in the 1970s, the iconic All in the Family show. Carl Reiner's dad produced it. Of course, before that, Rob Reiner's dad produced the Dick Van Dyke Show. Today is Dick Van Dyke's birthday. Happy birthday, Dick Van Dyke, 100 years old. And what a great guy. I hope he lives 100 more. And he knew Carl Reiner. I remember when pandemic happened, him and Dick Van Dyke and Carl Reiner did a public service announcement about how to protect your elders with the mask, because they're like, we're 100 years old, help us out, And then, of course, later that year, he passed away. Carl Reiner, Rob Reiner's dad. But yeah, Rob Reiner and his wife, and his wife, I think he met his wife when he filmed When Harry Met Sally. Look at that. Of course, with Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. But look at the movies, the amount of movies, iconic movies that I'm sure you've seen or have heard of, that even if you're younger, that Rob Reiner had produced. Because after he was on the sitcom All in the Family in the 80s, starting with Spinal Tap, I think, he started on a wonderful run. He put movies like Princess's Bride, Few Good Men, When Harry Met Sally, and somebody told me it was another movie. Help me out with his movies. He's such wonderful, iconic movies that he was a part of. And, he made the same transition as like Ron Howard did, where they were younger actors that transitioned into directing. And, yeah, thanks everybody. So you guys talking about the Home Alone house? Misery? Did he do Misery? Wow, that's amazing. Wow, thanks for helping out with the movies. Yeah, but yeah, the tragic loss of a Hollywood icon and his dad, the whole family, but we'll find more out about that. But then, yeah, of course, we have to acknowledge the horrible. Well, first, I think there were 2 U.S. service people killed in Syria. It was an ambush, so that's ongoing. And then the horrible attack in Sydney, Australia, Bondi Beach, anti-Semitic attack. And did you see the heroic effort of the Syrian-Australian guy that tackled the guy, got the weapon out of his hand, and then he himself was injured subsequently, and he's a true hero. And horrible tragic event. And then horrible tragic event at Brown University. There was a school shooting during exams. Unless this changed, is any news on that? The suspect's still at large, or they had somebody, a suspect, but then they couldn't find anything to keep them, which is very strange. But if you just join, we're in Chicago. We're heading past the South Pond here in Lincoln Park. But I might be adding, if I want to have discussions like this, I think you can do audio only podcasts and live streams on Substack, and you can still comment, so I'll still be able to see the comments in real time. Maybe we'll try that sometime, and we'll try like a real podcast. And I try to do podcasts with YouTube. I don't know if it works as well as I would like it to, but we'll keep trying until something works here. But I'm on Substack now, so here's Brian Really Chicago. This is YouTube, heading home from work here. We got 6:10 p.m. Chicago, Illinois. What's everybody doing here? Yeah, When Harry Met Sally. Yeah, what a great movie there. The classic I'll Have What She's Having scene. I think that was his mom or something, or Meg Ryan's mom or something. Verbs, yeah. Yeah, hit the thumbs up. Princess's Bride, yeah, thank you. Princess's Bride, great movie. Yeah, hit the thumbs up if you like this content here. Thanks for tuning in here. Double tap the screen. It's free. That was Reiner's mom, yeah, Wes. Thank you. Thumbs up. That's good. Thanks, everybody. Fear no evil. Few Good Men. Yeah, The Ghost of Mississippi. Thanks, Pizza Lisa. Appreciate it. Yeah, Carol. Yeah, I know Carol Connor. They were good friends. Carol Connor, of course, was Archie Bunker. And Rob Reiner was Meathead. They had the father-son relationship, and that's why, yeah, I don't know much about his son. I read stuff today. I guess he battled addiction and homelessness, and then he recently moved back home. Such a tragic. We'll find out more. But I think they officially booked him for murder, so that doesn't sound good. And so, such a tragic, I think. Yeah, they made a movie kind of about his struggle there. It'll be interesting to look back at that. Here's the, if you just joined me in Chicago, we're going by the South Pond here, Lincoln Park. This Ferris wheel is part of the Lincoln Park Zoo. It's the Lincoln Park Zoo lights still going on. We already got reruns out. I'm just going to head home. We'll just see them from outside the gate. You got to pay like $10 to get in there. We already done it a few times. We would go on to free nights, Monday night. Still, it might be free tonight. I don't know if the night's free or not. Might be the last free night tonight. Bail, 4 million. Yeah, 4 million. Yeah, because of the wealth of the generational wealth of the family. Yeah, $4 million bail. Yeah, that's they want to keep him in. They want to keep observation on him. Here's the Ferris wheel at Lincoln Park Zoo. Thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, we'll get some nice skyline views. Let's see how's my battery doing here. So we're down to 16%. My battery, if my phone suddenly shuts off, we're getting close into my battery. My battery doesn't last as long when it's cold, 22 degrees. So we'll film as much as we can. I'll get over to the skyline view of Chicago. I don't know if we'll have enough juice to make it around to the nice tree, but we got rerun footage of that on YouTube and TikTok here. We're on YouTube here, but if you feel like here, you don't follow me on TikTok, please do, if you want to, and vice versa. I have more followers on TikTok that won't follow me on YouTube. I understand. But see, there's the skyline of Chicago. There's the blue lights on the Sears Tower, Willis Tower. Botanical garden there, yeah. Oh yeah, I got reruns of the conservatory. We got larger botanical gardens up by the Skokie Lagoons there, and then there's of course the Garfield Park Conservatory, much larger one. We'll get over there later this winter. As you go over there, January, February, we'll go over to the Garfield Park. That's Jens Jensen. Jens Jensen was a part of these things in Chicago. Well, here's the skyline of Chicago. We're heading over the South Pond here, and there's the zoo lights here. There's the dragon lighting the fire there. But hey, look at that beautiful skyline here. This is downtown Chicago. Nice blue lights. Look at the blue lights on the Sears Tower, Willis Tower. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Second day of Hanukkah. And here you can look over to the John Hancock, the red and green. It switches to blue and white. Yeah, we're fading fast. I'm down to 12%. We'll head right down. We'll just keep a focus on those lights there. Little lambs. No, that's some kids. Yeah, the farm and zoo's right there. Does sound like a little lamb. No, I think it's a kid that's sad that they're leaving the zoo. Like they went to the zoo and they like the lights and they don't want to go home. I think that's what it is. It was like we would go to an amusement park and then you were so sad when you have to leave, you know. Yeah, flying over Chicago at night. Yeah, it's like a big graph paper of lights there with all the streets in all directions. Yeah, this water's frozen. So the little ponds are frozen. The north and south pond are frozen. There's an ice hockey rink on the north pond. We got down to sub-zero wind chills, Fahrenheit, actual temperature single digits over the weekend. And it's supposed to warm up later this week, so we still got mounds of snow, but a lot of the snow on the ground is pretty thin. Yeah, back tomorrow morning. Yeah, I'll try to live stream tomorrow morning. I'll try to head and work. I know I missed the live stream this morning. Thanks for cutting me some slack. Yeah, we'll do the morning live stream. If the sun's out, we'll try to catch the sunrise. Depends on if there's Michigan mountains. There's always clouds usually on the Michigan side. Notice the Michigan side of Lake Michigan was warmer because the lake kind of kept them warmer. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I am going to go to Texas. We're going to go to Texas next week. So this time next week we'll be in Texas for sure. Try to get stop at the Fort Worth Stockyards. Show you that cattle drive. All my exes live in Texas. That's why I live in Illinois. I know the song says Tennessee, but Nashville. There's the Loch Ness Monster. Look how the reflection in the ice there. Yeah, so this is the frozen South Pond. My battery's fading fast. We're down to 8% here, so get you the skyline here. Maybe we'll get around the front there. Here's the Cheshire Cat. 7%. Norm McDonald. Hey, I take that as a compliment. Yeah, Norm. Yeah, Norm. Norm McDonald, the great Norm McDonald. He was a Canadian, but we'll take it. Norm. Hopefully my battery will hold out for this. Norm McDonald was on The View, or one of those shows where it was like, you know, the women on the panel there, and they were grilling him, and they said, "You're proud. You said you only read 3 books in your entire life, and you didn't go to college." They said, "Do you think you impress women with that?" And Norm McDonald sat there with this smirk on his face. They said, "What are you smiling about?" He goes, "You know what?" He goes, "I got money." He goes, "That's the best aphrodisiac has helped me get women." He goes, "It's not that I'm funny." He said, "I got money." And then all the women were like, "Oh yeah, you're right." And he was Norm McDonald. You got to watch the clip. I didn't set it up right. Good old Norm. They said, "What do you do to impress women?" He goes, "You know what?" He goes, "I got money." And he didn't mean he was paying for sex. He meant he was, you know, could pay for a good time, for entertaining, a good date. They're really impressed, you know, and that's what it's about. But hey, thanks for tuning in, Chicago, Illinois. Here we're checking out the zoo lights, and yeah, don't quote me on that. I don't know if he's from Canada. I know a lot of the people on Saturday Night Live. Lauren Michaels stole him from Canada. Like John Candy was from Canada. Maybe Norm wasn't. I think he like was born there, but you know, he of course lived in New York when he was on Saturday Night Live. Lived in the United States probably most of his life. But that's what happens when you live stream. Eventually you'll say something wrong where you're not for sure about. You're like, "Am I sure about that?" Like one time I thought for sure that "Where's the Beef" was Arby's, but it was Wendy's. It was a Wendy's commercial. You know, Dave Thomas, Wendy's. "Where's the beef?" It was Wendy's, but in my mind, because it was we have the meats, I got it confused and I thought it was Arby's. And it shows you how your brain can play tricks on you, and marketers can play tricks on you too. It's like a fairy tale. No, Hyde Park's on the south side. We're on the north side. This is Lincoln Park. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we've gone to Hyde Park. You should watch my video on the Obama Presidential Library and read the comments. We'll go back down there once it's finished. How's my battery? Okay, I'll sign off here. Thanks, mods. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll be up bright and early here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll see you later from Chicago. Appreciate it. My battery's about to end here, so I'm going to end this live. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later. Thanks for gifts, like, follows. We'll see you tomorrow.